Hello, welcome aboard. Welcome to the maintenance shop. Welcome to Fishing Without Bait. Welcome to the world of full impact mindfulness, where we help people develop minds of awareness to replace minds of uncertainty and anxiety and fear. So we help people when we walk through life with a mind of awareness. We walk through life, it's like walking through the dark with a large light around us so we can see what's right in front of us. And today, as always, I'm joined by my good friend, co-host, and producer of this program, Mr. Mike. Mr. Mike, have you ever had your car tuned up? Have you ever had the oil change? Have you ever had it in tip-top peak condition?
Oh, I don't know about tip talk, but definitely a little bit here and there of getting it in, get the oil change, getting a little bit of freshen up on stuff. That needs to happen every once in a while, so it keeps going at a fine pace.
So you feel pretty confident. You feel safe and secure in that automobile in that moment, do you not?
In that moment, yes.
Okay, so however, do you need to take it back in to change the oil again? Do you need to check the fan belt? Do you need to get it tuned up? Do you need to check the air in it? Do you need to clean the inside of the car out occasionally?
Oh, well, yes, whenever the light comes on or I'm noticing that smell.
However, sometimes when we get complacent and when we're talking about these first 9 steps of these 12-step recovery is related to behavioral change go. Sometimes when we're doing well, we did all that work, we did a great job, we did that inventory, we made amends, we did all these things, and we're feeling real great, and perhaps we feel that we don't need to change that oil again, or we don't need to clean out the car, or check the tires. Okay, we don't need to maintain the recovery. Once we have that traction, we forget that we still need to train and we still need to keep moving forward. What we do, we challenge people out there to continue to incorporate this design for living in their lives. And as a disclaimer, we do not represent 12-step recovery. We do not speak for any 12-step recovery group, individual, or organization. However, in step 10, Mike, what we do is we continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. So, do you ever do a self-evaluation? Do you ever take an evaluation of your business? Do you ever take an evaluation of your life, of your relationship with your partner? Do you ever stand back and take inventory to look at it and evaluate?
Sometimes I think so, especially now that I am juggling a business and aspects of business. That's happening more. Going to events like, I've been talking to you about this podcast movement that I've gone and be able to see how other people are addressing these kinds of businesses and things like that. And we're looking at what we're doing and taking notes and seeing where we can adjust and things like that. In life, I'm trying to always look at the work-life balance on that and making sure other things in life we're taking care of, like the house, like the car, and taking stepping back and see like, okay, what do we need to do here?
And all those things, of course, are temporary. All these things are materialistic. They're wonderful. We need them to travel through this life. However, as we've often expressed to individuals, people, our own philosophy of life is that we are spiritual beings who happen to be having a human experience. Okay, so what we want to do in this type of behavioral change, in this type of an inventory, is to evaluate at the end of the day, where have I been selfish or dishonest with another human being? Were my motives clear? The choices that I made today, and this is important, the choices that I made today, am I proud of them? Am I proud of the choices that I made today? And if you are not, then perhaps, and that's okay, then we want to take a look at it. We want to correct those misdeeds before they pile up. And as we noted in our previous podcast, the refrigerator starts to get stinky. The pantry starts to get overcrowded. Okay, the oil light comes on. Our tires get flat. Our car gets so crowded that we can't get into it. Okay. So, however, if we continue to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, do something about it. Do something about it. Did you ever do something, Mike, and you knew that it wasn't right and it just kind of nagged at you?
Oh, absolutely.
However, sometimes we're just so lazy and we procrastinate, we kind of hope it goes away. And sometimes we have that quick forgetter, and sometimes we do let those things go away. But generally they build up. They do not go away. They just accumulate and mold. mold and fungus, like something you've left in a refrigerator for too long. Did you ever leave something in the refrigerator and you found it? You reached down real low and got way in the back, and you found out that that thing had grown into a new life of its own.
Oh yeah, there's been a few. There's been a few science experiments in our fridge before.
Sure, absolutely. So what we want to do is we want to keep cleaning that out. It's a whole lot easier to keep a clean refrigerator than to clean a messy one, is it not? So just like an automobile. So that's what we challenge people to do. So these last three steps are steps which are called maintenance steps. Okay, we're maintaining that forward momentum, that good place where we have going in our life and going forward. Okay, so step 11, and again we're going through this from a 12-step concept where it is imperative that we have a contact. And when we talk about holistic wellness, and of course we talk about holistic wellness on this program often, Mike, when we talk about the mind, body, spirit aspect, we talk about those things that are complementary, they're interconnected. You can't fix one without affecting the others. All three have to be in harmony and balance. So quite often when we talk about in our past episodes, we've talked about what makes a flower bloom. What are the three things that make a flower bloom, Mike?
That would be sunlight, water, and soil.
Yes, sunlight, water, and soil.
I was really good at biology class.
So what we correlate that to is the water is taking care of your physical body, taking care of your physical body. And the sunlight is a spiritual connection, some type of connection with something. On this program, we make no apologies for suggesting that some type of grounding, some type of spirituality, some type of a connection with something so that we're not all alone. And then the soil, Mike, the soil is the environment, the people, places, things, and situations that we place ourselves in, the people that we surround ourselves with that allow us to grow. So sometimes people wonder why they're not growing. Well, perhaps they're planted in a sandbox where there's not nutrients. Have you ever been in a position in your life, Mike, either with a group that you were involved with, or perhaps a job or school, where you found yourself literally in a sandbox?
Oh, absolutely. Where you don't feel like you can grow out of it, you end up growing around it and reaching out of that box.
So in step 11, what we do is we seek through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understand Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And you can interpret that any way you like. Prayer is merely talking to a friend. Maybe that's going in the woods and connecting with the universe. Maybe laying down, doing some active listening. Meditation, slowing our mind down, grounding ourselves, being present and being aware, as we often say on this program, to avoid the time traveling and being right here and being right now. And again, what we're doing when we're praying for knowledge, perhaps we're asking for that mind of awareness, Mike. We're asking for knowledge. We're asking to replace that fear and uncertainty with a mind of awareness, which can only be accomplished through knowledge. So if our brakes are squealing on our car, Mike, do we stop at the lawn and garden center for advice? No. Perhaps we're maybe a bit spiritually bankrupt. Maybe we're feeling so empty and a void in our life. So we want to fill that up. And we're not going to fill that up at the arcade. We're not going to fill that up at the grocery store. When we need some spiritual growth, then we go to a spiritual connection and asking for the power to carry that out. Well, the power to carry that also, Mike, is the energy, the motivation, doing the next right thing. What do I do? Making those wise mind choices, having that motivation, perhaps stepping out of your comfort zone, asking for some assistance and stepping out of your comfort zone for some own personal growth. So, step 12 is a continuous type of process. It says, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message and to practice these principles in all our affairs. So we've woken up. As we've suggested many times in the past, the whole purpose of life, the whole purpose is to enlighten ourselves, to be awake, to be awake. The rappers today say woke. Okay, that's a word. I love it. Woke. Are you woke? Okay. However, they just didn't come up with this. So many years ago, the Buddha was asked, "Are you a saint? Are you a sinner? Are you a ghost? Are you evil? Are you a god? What are you?" And the Buddha replied, "I'm awake." Awake, woke, and the Buddha didn't come up with that either, okay? It's about being right here and being right now. It's about being present, that awakening. Wake up. Did you ever say to somebody, "Wake"? Did you ever say to yourself, "Wake up"? This is when life's happening, right here and right now. So, what do we do? What do we do with that when we're awoke, when we're enlightened? Did you ever feel so good that you had to tell somebody about it? All this knowledge that you've accumulated here in your profession, okay? What type of a person would you be if you didn't share that with other people? Share that how to help perhaps people, some neophytes, some beginners, some newcomers.
Absolutely, and that's a big tenet of what we do here. Sharing that, I just did a job this past weekend that I'm like really happy with and had a lot of fun with, right? And I'm sharing that and then experiences and how I felt doing that job, and then I'm making something that I get to share with everybody. The things that we do here around, like developing programs like this. We're educating and sharing and sharing tips and everything like that, and working on more things. It's a great thing to kind of build a community around those ideas.
So, if there was a great malaise here in our city, and there was a virus, and people were ill, and people were sick, and actually maybe dying, and we had come up with a cure, we had come up with an antidote. However, we only kept it for ourselves and our family, and we kept it locked away, and we only used it. What type of people would we be? Selfish and self-centered. So the idea is to share freely, which was what given so freely to us. Okay, so the idea is that the waves of positivity go out. Okay, just as the waves of negativity go out, the waves of positivity can go out also. There's kind of a paradox in this. To keep it, you have to give it away. So, in order for your knowledge base to grow, wouldn't it be incumbent upon you to share that with others?
Absolutely.
And that way you keep yourself fresh. The idea is to keep yourself fresh and to carry the message that you have in your life. And here's the big deal: to practice these principles in all our affairs. So that doesn't mean just talking the talk, that means walking the walk. So how many people in your life have given these wonderful speeches, these wonderful flowery type of admonitions to people and advice, and they don't follow that at all in their own life?
I'd say most of the people that you're getting, things like self help or things like that, like they're just talking a good talk to sell a thing.
So what are those type of people called?
Hypocrites.
Do as I say, don't do as I do. So the idea is that as part of what I do, I assist people in dealing with addictions. Okay, as part of what I do. So if I would counsel people on addictions and dealing with mental obsessions, physical addictions, and some ways to deal with that. And every day I stopped at a bar or a tavern and drank and used drugs. What type of person would I be?
Yeah, absolutely hypocritical.
I'd be that hypocrite, would I not? So the idea is am I proud of what I do? Am I proud of what I tell people? Can I back it up? So you can talk to people about technical things, you can maybe advise them over the phone, but the idea is you might have been reading a script off a piece of paper. However, when they come to you, are you able to back it up? Can you back up what you say? Can you back up the bluster? If you brag, it's not bragging if you can back it up, because all you're doing is telling the truth. So remember what we talked about is that difference between confidence and arrogance? Confidence is that you know what you can do. You're not putting anyone down. You're not making anyone less than. You're just confident in your abilities. Are you confident in your ability with what you do, Mike?
Absolutely.
And I'm confident in the abilities with what I do. So, what we try to do is help people identify their strengths, talents, and abilities, and add to and enhance those, and be confident in their ability to walk through their life in whatever path they choose. So, what we're talking about here is a design for living, to practice these principles in all our affairs, not just when you and I are here talking on this program, talking all these wonderful niceties that you and I talk about, spreading it out into the air. That means walking out of here and doing exactly the same thing that we talk about today. Being consistent, not today, not an hour from now, 2 weeks from now, 2 years from now, forever. That means being consistent in your life, being genuine, being your authentic self. And that's our challenge for everyone today, to help define their authentic self, to connect the dots. And if you've had any type of awakening, or perhaps you have some personal stories that you find resonate with you through what we've just spoken about, please contact our program. Mike will show you how, and we'd love to hear from you. We love to share good news. We love to share positivity. We always talk about what works. We want to add to and reinforce what works in your life. And as always, a free prescription at the end of every episode: fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Unplug the television and take up fishing. And we challenge you to fish without bait. Have a lifetime without definitive expectations. Forgive yourself, forgive another. Do a kindness for yourself, do a kindness for another. Till all are free, none are free. Namaste.
Please check out our website at fishingwithoutbait.com, where you can listen to the show, comment on our discussions, and find out where you can subscribe to our podcast. If you're interested in flying the colors of Fishing Without Bait, click the shop icon on our website. We have clothing, mugs, cell phone cases, and so much more. Show the world that you fish without bait. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.